let's get started on putting this together. So I had this dot stencil. I made you guys a stencil on the Cricut that you could print out and cut if you wanted to. Or if you know, a lot of us have dot or even anything else, you know, any of these stencils would probably work. Just to do a little background, and you're going to need your espresso ink and a sponge, just whatever stencil you have. And if you don't have anything, just sponge behind it. She's just trying to make a little background behind these clusters. So, oh, I got pen mark on my pen on my paper, so let me turn that over. So up here in the upper left, make sure I kind of had I put the thing on my computer so I can enlarge spots and make sure that I'm not missing anything. So I'm just gonna kind of dot the espresso ink. I don't know if you can see I'm using the ink pad over in the upper left corner over some of these dots. And then a little bit over, just here and there. We're just kind of making some background. And it doesn't have to be any perfect, you know, thing. And she had just a little bit more. So let me put those over here. And then down at the bottom, same thing, kind of around the bottom, here and there. Kind of the left-hand side of the page is basically where she has them. All right, like that. Let's grab the other paper while we're at it for layout 2. And let me move that over it because I can see. Okay, so up at the top, this time a little bit on the left and the right. And kind of up here at the top. Sorry if I'm banging the camera over here, and then kind of just keep going down the side. And that's pretty much it. So sort of like that. All right, so we'll set that one aside. Just not using that right now. Let's close up the ink. And the next thing is just to we can go ahead, before I attach it to the mist paper, I'm just going to grab the zip strips, because these are going on the white anyway, and the glitter paper strips. So grab those. And I think there was something odd, if I recall, when I was kind of putting these together on the, that's not the right one, on these glitter paper strips. I'm not quite sure how she did it across the top of the mats, because there's really not enough. So we may have to play with that a little bit, but there's plenty to do. We could cut it up to make it go over the mats on the left-hand side. So I'm going to, because these are thin, I'm just gonna do a line of glue here for the zip strip, because it's a little hard to put regular runner adhesive on, and then just get it right flush with the edge. And across there. See, now my zip strip's a little long, which is kind of weird. So I don't know, maybe it's supposed to go the other side. Let me see if it fits the other. No, it doesn't. It doesn't fit either way. It's a little long. So either I cut it wrong, or she gave us the wrong measurement. So I'm gonna pop that back over here. It looks like, I'm trying to think how she's doing. Let me see here. This is the side that's 11.5. This is the side that's 11 3/4. I think maybe she's doing the 11 3/4 side, so maybe that is where it's gonna go. So let's put the 11 3/4 side going left to right. And it still seemed like it was too long. So let me try that again. If you already did it the other way, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, we're gonna pull up, you can, yeah, see mine's still too long, so I must have either not cut it down or something. But maybe you cut yours right. I don't know, I must have missed mine there. So, and then on the top is the same, so I'm just gonna flip it over to the other side. Yes, I have glue over here, I'll get that in a minute. And do the bottom one. So if we didn't cut these at the beginning or whatever, you can just trim it off. And that's going again flush with the edge. Hope I'm in camera. This is the thing when you're doing this semi-live. There will be mistakes. Okay, and then right above them is the little shimmer trim strips, which that one is cut correctly. And I'm just going to put little dots all the way across. Slide that down into those. And just butt it up against the zip strip. Like that. Okay, and then flip around, do the same thing to the other side. Little dots. Since I don't like the Close to My Heart pen glue, and I use the Zig one, we can talk about which ones you guys use. What kind of glue do you use? Put it in the comments. Just can't always recommend every one of our products. Oops, I got the wrong one. Where's my long one? Here it is. Okay. There's two. You got extra glitter strips, so make sure you get the right size. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to get my glue eraser and get the glue off this side where I initially put that down. Is it this side? No, it's this side. This side. All right. Luckily, I think it didn't make too much of a mess. Oh, don't you love a glue eraser? All right. Now, if you couldn't get the glue off, or if you didn't have a glue eraser, you could just put a design down there. You could cut some more of the glitter paper and just put it on all four sides. Okay, that's good enough. All right, and then we are putting our mats on. So she's got these. This has been interesting because she does this often, where she cuts down the photos to unusual shapes. And this one, she just, this is like 5 by 3.5 or something like that. You have to look on your instruction sheet. Let me see if I can grab that up quick. Yeah, so she cut them down to 3.5 by 5, the two on the outside. So I just took a 4 by 6 photo placeholder and cut it down like that. So it's not exactly a 4 by 6 that's gonna go in here, but it's just holding a place for now. So you will have to cut your photo a little bit different shape than normal, or size. And then in the middle, she has the 5 by 7, which is also an odd one. Now remember, you can always change this out. So a 3 by 4 and maybe some 2 by 2s might fit in there. Or you can put a 4 by 6 in a place where there's a 5 by 7 and just have add a mat, or you let your photo placeholder be your mat. So you could put a photo right here in the middle and just has a nice wide mat, no big deal. All right, let's see how she's done this. Now this is where it was weird because this is supposed to go under the under and over the mats, and yet the size that she gave me does not fit across the page. So we're going to cut that because the only place she's got the glitter paper there is just over the 2 outer mats. So why she didn't have us cut that the right size, I'm not sure. Okay, so it seems like she has put this directly on the edge of the white. So all we need to do is make sure it's kind of centered because she doesn't use measurements much. So I'm just going to take my ruler and say that that's going to be, let's see, I do it about centered here. Looks like maybe 3 inches down from the top would be a good spot. So let's do that. 3 inches down from the top for your left hand photo. And now I'm gonna just use my Versamat here. Put it in like this. And then right flush with that number. So that will be 3 inches is at 9. And that, you know, that's fairly centered. It's not perfect, but it's good enough, I think. And we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. We're gonna go down 3 inches from the top. And that's all the way to the top. So about there. Okay. So as I say many times during this Jennifer Smith layout video, I'm doing this as I go. So it's the very first time I'm making these layouts. And so that causes me to make some mistakes. So one of the mistakes that I made that you're about to fix and not have to make is I put the 5x7 mat on page 1 of this layout. And that actually goes on page 2. So you'll see later on in this video where I noticed that mistake. And so what I've done is cut a 5x7, or 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 mat for my page 2, but you don't have to make that mistake. So at this point, when you see me put the 5x7 mat in the center of the other 2 mats, that's actually supposed to be your 4x6. So go ahead and put your 4x6 mat there and save the 5x7 for page 2. And then in the middle is going to be your 5x7. So let's sort of center that. And it's just going to, it looks like this might be a good one to pop up, especially since it looks like there'll be a little tucking underneath. Even though she didn't say that, I can tell that there is. And there's probably going to be a little bit of tucking under this part too, but that's okay. We'll just cut that, so that's no big deal. All right. So let's pop this up and let's call that about 2 1/4 inches up from the bottom would be a good spot. So I'm going to get that on my Versamat and go about 2 1/4 up. I'm just using these outside lines on my Versamat to help me do it. Now just center it between the 2 pictures. Oh, I forgot. We're gonna pop it up. Let me get my pop tape. I get so used to doing that. And we're gonna need a lot of tape because you don't want it to sink down. So while I'm doing this, I just signed my husband and I up for conversational Spanish classes. Our local college is having like a community classes or whatever you call them. And so I thought that sounds like fun. We are both, I learned some Spanish in high school and some in college. And then I had, when I was a teacher in California, I had 3/4 of my students were Hispanic And most of them did not speak any English at all. So I had a bilingual aide, but I needed to learn a lot of Spanish, or at least try and remember the Spanish I had learned really quickly. And so I know some. And then my husband grew up in California. I don't know if he ever took any formal classes in Spanish, but he knows some Spanish too, and he's done some of that Duolingo thing, and also, and then my youngest, who's graduating from college, has taken 4 years of Spanish, but he hardly speaks any at all. Because there you go. You know what they're actually teaching us in college anymore. I don't know, but I sure spent a lot of money for nothing. But anyway, so he doesn't speak much, and he doesn't like to speak it, even though he's taken 4 straight years right in order. Then my middle child, my son, he is quite good at it, and I think he only took a little bit in high school, but he just picked it up really, really well, and has a good memory for the vocabulary. And my daughter, just a tiny, tiny bit she knows. So my husband and I have, we would go to Mexican restaurants and stuff like that, and we love to actually practice our Spanish with the waiters, and they're always great about it. And when we go to Spanish-speaking countries, we always try to practice there. So we thought we're going to Mexico in a couple weeks, and we'll practice. But right after that, we come back and we're going to take these classes to try to get better. Now, I don't want to go too much over. I might have to powder just slightly. And I forgot we're going to tuck, so maybe I'm going to move this up a little bit. This is what happens when I get talking. I'm not going to worry about it. I think I'll just maybe either powder it or see if I can get these sticky things back on. And just this bottom part and maybe the top one. I'm going to put the sticky paper back on. And you can powder yours if you already took yours off too. Just do some of the anti-static pouch thing. Because we're going to need to tuck a little bit. See, this is what happens when I start talking. Now, the other thing is I've got to make sure I'm not going too much over these photos with the sticky stuff. So just in case. So I should tell you now. So if you're a step behind me like this, smart to do. Just put the foam tape a little closer to the middle and not so much on the outside. I'm just going to powder those so my photos can slip under them. So these will probably be some of my French ones, my French photos. All right, let me line this back up. And just get that down. Kind of centered between the two photos. All right, like that. So I finished my layout, and I forgot that I never put down the other shimmer trim. So, or not shimmer trim, but glitter paper. So I'm going to stick it in here, and I'm going to insert this into the video at the right place that you get it in there. But you're going to see that my layout is nearly finished here. So let's just get this in. Now, she had us cut this, but it's too short. And it needs to go in 2 places. So I'm just not quite sure what she was thinking there. And so let's see if these will even fit. I'm gonna try that and see. May have to cut a little bit extra glitter paper, but let's find out first. So I'm gonna stick this here because it only has to show on the top and the bottom of these photos here. So let me just put it here, and I'll trim it. And like that. Just push it up against it, and I'm gonna cut a little piece off here. So yeah, it because she had us do a long strip, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. That could have been my mistake too, but I looked at that a couple times. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna need a little bit extra glitter paper. So I will also put that in there in the cutting instructions somewhere, or just let you guys know. So I'm gonna clip that there. I'll cut it straighter later. So I have a little bit more here. And yeah, I don't think it's gonna, I don't know. Yeah, I probably am gonna need just a touch more because I don't think that this is enough. And I'm going to go back and look and see if I've somehow made a mistake in the cutting. But let's take a look at that. My cutting instructions. Okay, so for layout 1, she cut at 1/8 and 7 3/4. So that does not go across this, so I'm not quite sure. And then the other one were definitely in the right place. So I'm not sure what she was thinking there. And I'm gonna be a little bit short, so I will grab my melon paper and I'll try to make a note of this somewhere so that you guys know to cut this a little bit extra. Okay, I do see that I had a second strip here. But still, this whole piece does not go the length, so it still was cut wrong or something. And I did look at the, the guide, and it still isn't quite right. So, all right, now, because I already got my stuff down here, it might be a little more difficult for me to put this in here. So I'm gonna just fit it somehow, just because of the way I've got this stacked up here. Let me put this clip a little bit off of my circle. Now you guys won't have to do this. You'll be able to put it on because I'm going to stick this video in at the part where before we start decorating. And so you will put it down before all of this decoration. But I'm stuck kind of sticking it in. And we'll just see. Lift, lift. All right, better. I'm gonna put a ton of glue there. Stick those down. My circle's gonna look a little odd for a second, and I'm just gonna clip it just a touch and see if that helps. And it doesn't want to cut. All right, like that. And then let me trim these all flush, and that part will be done. Okay, just like that. So you guys, before you start decorating, pop that on there, kind of like that. All right, now I'm gonna put get a good visual over here of my layout on my computer where I can really see, because we've got all these little clusters and I want to get them right for you. So the upper cluster is this green circle that you cut out, the blue pattern circle that you cut out. Let's, if you can slip under, go ahead, but that's a lot to slip under. So even if you did only put a little bit of tape, I think still it's smart to cut these slightly. So I'm just going to cut about 2/3 and then slip them in. And so this one, I flipped my paper around, didn't I? You know what I'm going to do? I want the dots up here. So the dots should be on the upper left there. Doesn't matter about my photo placeholders because I'm just sticking photos in them anyway. So, but I want those dots to show, and they don't show down here as much. So let's get this one up here and tuck that under. That goes kind of left-hand side. Looks like from the top, she's got that down, I'd say that's a good 1.5 inches from the top. And then the blue goes over to the left of it, and I'm just gonna line it right up against this one, right at the top, so no need to even tuck. And just like that. And then over here we've got this leaf, this leaf, and the yellow flower cluster here. And it looks like the yellow goes down, so, well, that's second. So the big fat leaves will go down first. So get some adhesive on those. And that's gonna kind of tuck, lay into the side on that circle, kind of like this. Then your yellow. You don't even, the stems are gonna tuck under, so no need to even worry about putting glue on those. And that just is gonna pop up a bit there. And then the last leaf will go over that. And everything's getting tucked, so no need to do much more glue than just at the top there, okay? And then over to the left here, let's do the other two plants. So we've got this one and this one, okay? And let's get these over. Now this looks like it is coming over the photo a bit. You know, I don't like that as much, so I may push it up just a touch. And I think I'm gonna take off just a little bit of that glue at the top and leave it the rest for underneath. So I won't have any glue on this upper part of that, and that way it won't touch the photo, but there's glue underneath. Okay, and then this one, same thing. I'm gonna probably put glue more down on the bottom where it's not gonna touch the photo, and maybe a little, because it's gonna overlap a little bit onto that circle, just a little at the top of that. Kind of like this. And then we've got a bird. So this bird, I believe, is the big one right here. I'm gonna let these fall because they just don't want to stick in there. So this one right here. I do love that these things practically fall out of here, so they're nice and easy, but it means I gotta keep track of them. Okay, so this one, kind of, oh, she looks like she dusted that though. I don't remember her saying that, but I can see that there's a little bit of color on there. And it might be somewhere on the instructions, but I didn't see that. So let me see if it's if it'll look okay with this espresso that I just kind of had. She probably used toffee. She just distressed her edges, I think. So in this case, you know, I think it looks good around that bird, makes it pop out a little bit. So I just did a little distressing around the outside edge. Looks like the tail is kind of behind, sort of, and then this lower wing is sits on. So I'm gonna pop that up. I'm gonna continue to remind you that I am doing this for the first time, so bear with me. And I don't even think I'm gonna put any more pop dots than that. And I'm just gonna set that right on that upper green foliage and let the wing kind of hover over that top there, like that. All right, good enough. And then right on top of the little bird is a sticker. And it's this one that says Hope. And I am gonna pop that up too. Right there on his belly, or his lower wing, sort of. Like that. Okay. Let me see, I think that's up. That's good for the upper part. Let's move, let's do a middle. So, it's got a little, for layout one, it's this bottom tab. And again, I'm gonna take my sponge and just sponge the edge slightly. You don't have to do this, but it looks pretty nice, I think. And now that's gonna go right here. So all I'm gonna do, because I don't want that to land my photo, is I'm gonna put a line of glue right on the outside of this mat here. And that's where I'm popping that. So it doesn't have to be tucked, but you only want a little glue right on the brown mat. I'm gonna let that sit there, and then another sticker, the Today one. She distressed the edges of that. I didn't do the other one, but I will with this one, just slightly. And I'm gonna pop that up on that tab. Like this. Okay, very cute. Maybe I will put a little distress on this. Okay. All right, now let's go down to the bottom. Bottom looks like the first thing down are actually foliage. And so there is a sticker in here too that we're gonna need, but it looks like everything is tucked under. So, all right, so first let's do this one first, and this goes about here. So you're gonna need to cut it. There's no tucking involved in this one at all because you can tell there's no place to tuck it. So just cut it, and let's see, yep, just about there. So a little bit to the right of the big mat. And well, she's got a lot of little, I see she did a lot of circles down there that mine didn't show up as well, or did I take the wrong page? No, I don't think so. I'm gonna just add a few little dots down here because I want more to show up. Okay, that'll be good. And then next is I want to kind of place this circle where I want it. So I'm gonna cut this 2/3-ish and set it, because then I'm gonna put foliage under it, but I'm not gluing it yet. I just want to see where it's going to be so I know where to stick my leaves. So this is the first leaf I'm going to use. And we're going to have a brown one there too. I can see that's coming out of the chipboard. So this one I'm going to tuck under this circle, which I have not glued down. And yeah, just kind of let it stick about there. And then next, it looks like the flowers. So these are the coral flowers. So yours are either going to be kind of a pinkish, or if you chose to use that purple that I told you would look better, go ahead and put that down. And that just layers under the circle, but over the leaves. And I can, yeah, we'll do that. And then we've got some foliage here, right here, from the chipboard set, and that's going to kind of go off to the bottom here, tucking again underneath that circle. Oh, I want to do a little, let me just do a little distressing because it just looks good. Stick that down. Okay. And I think we're good to put the circle down now, so get some glue on that. Gosh, I hope you guys can see this. I'm going to try to keep moving it to make sure it's in camera. And then just layer that right back. And I'm going to go a little bit over on that, where that leaf is. Okay, makes it bumpy because it's going over kind of thick things there. So, and then we're gonna look, I think that's down good enough. This sticker here, and you're only gonna need half of it. So if you want to save half for later, just cut it while it's on the sticker sheet. And I'm just gonna take this smaller bit, and that goes right here, tucked. Oh, wait, there is one thing that's under it. Yeah, I think those flowers are under it. So before we put that down, let's do this bunch of flowers. And I'm trying to think, it's hard to tell if the other ones are under it or over it because there's a big butterfly over them. So let's just tuck them all down. So hold your hold your sticker for a minute. Put the yellow flowers down first. And let's get this green foliage next. It's really hard to tell whether they're under it or not, so I'm just gonna go with that premise. Stick that down kind of close to the green circle, and then you've got the little bluebells or whatever those are, and I'm going to stick that under. And that actually hovers over the outside one, so you could do that if you want, over the mat. And then I'm going to put this down. Just tuck it slightly. There. And got a big butterfly then from the chipboard set. And that is, looks like this one. I think so. Let me look, because they use butterflies quite a few times on here. It's hard to see which one is the right size. I think it's this one, upper right, because I'm looking at the wording on it. And then let's distress those edges just slightly. And I didn't distress the edge of the circle, but you could. So I can still go back and do a little bit. So let's just get this butterfly, and then oop, I just dressed the wrong side. Try that again, take two. All right, and that will be popped up. Just kind of hovering there. So I'm just gonna put probably a thin strip across the middle, like that. I'm gonna make sure that the strip is below my mat. And there's the butterfly. All right, let me see. Are we done with that side? I think we are. Yeah, she's made it so it's a lot easier to put together than usual. She usually has so many. So let me see if I'm still in like camera range here. I think so. I'll just kind of hold those clusters up so you can look at them. And that's gorgeous. And it's a completely different look than the CTMH one. Just a completely different look. So let's work on page 2. So before we work on page 2, we do have to attach this down. As pretty as it is this way, it does. It is supposed to go on the mist paper. So get a lot of adhesive together and get your mist paper out. All right. I absolutely love this layout. Man, she's good. All the confusion and everything. And then, you know, it just looks so pretty. So that's going in here. Now, let's see, wait, did she have it to, I think she had it to the right. Yes, all the way flush with the right. So centered between top and bottom, but flush with the right-hand side of the paper so that they match up nicely. There we go. That's better. All right, let's move on to the second layout, second page of the first layout. All right, let's do page 2. Let's try to make less mistakes. I will try to make less mistakes. Long side down. So you'll know because your zip strips and your glitter papers are gonna fit correctly, right? Okay, so except mine was too long. That's right, the zip strip was too long. That's okay. Let's get the long side glued up and zip strip down first. All right. That is a way to stretch your zip strips by cutting them in half, huh? I remember mine was cut too long. You may have cut yours right, but somehow I got that. I missed that. And then the little glitter paper next. So pretty. I'm just loving this layout. All right, push that right up against it. And mine's just slightly short, so I'm gonna move it over a little bit. That's common. You know, it's hard to always cut perfectly accurate on that trimmer. Okay, and let's do the whole thing again. And I think I dropped my zip strip, did I? I might have dropped it because I had it here a minute ago and now I'm not seeing it. I'll pause a minute and look. Yep, I had left it on the bed. So I am in the guest bedroom is where my little desk area is until guests arrive. So it has to be somewhat mobile. And so I just kind of lay all my stuff out on the beds in the room here while the sheets are all being washed today. Because I do have guests coming for my son's graduation. So mother-in-law and sister-in-law from California. I think they're going to be a little disappointed because we were only able to get 4 tickets for the graduation. And so my son picked me and his father and my parents to come and actually be in the room where he graduates. Not his brother and sister. Didn't pick them. And so my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my kids are going to have to sit in an overflow auditorium where they can watch it on video. But, you know, that's the way it goes these days. All right, so I don't know if I think I turned my paper, and when I was doing the dot thing, I think that's what threw me off in the first one, is that I had my dots in a different place than I thought they were, and it's because we had to turn that paper the long way. So I'm gonna add just a few more dots on this paper. And let me grab my sponge. Where did that disappear to? All right, I have plenty more. So I'm just going to put a few more dots up here because I want them to show. And I think there's plenty on the rest of the page. Okay. So next we're gonna put the photo. Now here I want you to take photo number, or layout number 1, and line that up according to the zip strips, because this is where it's supposed to go right across from here, I guess. Now let me see, because this must be, I don't know how she has a 5x7. Something's odd. I wonder if I messed up on that first page, because that says 5x7. I guess I did. So that first page is supposed to actually be a 4x6. So, well, I totally messed up on that. So one thing we could do is we can just put a 5x7 here. So I'm going to make a little video and insert that for you guys so that you know that it's the wrong size, and I'm gonna just make a new one that's my right size. Okay, I found, I've got my 5x7 piece, so line up, oops, my flowers are sticking. Line up your 2 pages together, and that'll make it so much easier to put this on. You won't have to do any measuring. Make sure the zip strips match with the zip strip. Get your 5x7 mat, and just push it right up next to the other one until you reach the edge of your white cardstock, French vanilla cardstock, like that. Then you don't need the white one, the first page anymore. You've got that down. We've got 2 pieces of, I believe, mulberry pattern paper here, and they're gonna go at the top and the bottom. And I'm guessing they're about, they're pretty, well, pretty close to the edge. Let me see if we have to put that I don't think it matters about putting the zip strip, not the zip strip, but the glitter down. We can put that over that. So let's do that. I'm just leaving it about 1/4 inch there, so plenty of it shows. And then at the bottom, looks like I need a little glue here. And then we'll put those glitter strips on. About 1/4 inch over. Okay, and then we've got 2 glitter strips. They are longer than the mat. I already noticed that when I was cutting them. Oop, my other glitter strip is coming up here. So that's not gonna matter because we're gonna be clustering, but if you want to, you can do it this way and then cut it off here, or you can just leave it on, which is probably what I don't know. Maybe I'll clip it off a little bit here. And because it's not gonna show under all this clustering. So I'll do just a little bit and just go right along the edge of the mat. Very, very pretty. Like that. More important that it matches up on the left-hand side because the right-hand side is all going to be clustered. And the same at the top. Let me know if you're out there. Valerie and I are constantly evaluating on the things we do and whether they're still, you know, of interest to you guys. So if you're not watching these, then we need to know so that we don't waste our time doing something that you don't really want to see. We want to do the things that you want to see. All right, I think that's it for that part. And then I think we just get on to the decorating. Shall we put that big sticker down first? That is the together sticker right here. And it doesn't look like there's anything around it. It's just laying down. And she also didn't pop it. So I'm gonna just lay that flat, and it's gonna be so easy to line up because you've got all those nice straight lines above it and beneath it to match with, just like that. Next, the blue circle is gonna go down first. And I don't think we're tucking anything under the green circle, which is good. So I think that, let's lay that blue down. I'm gonna say let's risk it. And it's about like this. So maybe 1/2 inch from the bottom of the mat, maybe about 1/2 inch over, or maybe even more, maybe 3/4 inch over. And then we're gonna cut this piece down to 2/3 or so. And it just doesn't look like anything's tucked under it. So I'm just gonna push that right up in the kind of the center there. I got my glitter paper coming up again. Oh, if glitter paper was only sticky like our glitter tape stuff, shimmer tape. That would be so nice. Okay. Now this, we might have to tuck under this one. So I didn't pop this up, but I can pull it up again. So I'm gonna tuck mine. If you can't tuck yours, you know, you just cut. All right, so I'm making it a little bit closer so I can really see how detailed this stuff is. I want to make sure I'm trying to get it right for you. Okay, it looks like the yellow flowers are down first. Those look like it's the largest cluster here. Okay, and that's going to go kind of in this corner, popping out. So keep the stems down underneath your mat. Now, if you couldn't lift your mat up, all you're going to do is you're going to just snip, line it up next to it. That's very easy fix. Okay, and then I'll lift this up because I've got the little blue bells next, and those look like that. And I'm gonna tuck that, and actually I think I will trim mine a bit because I don't need all of that underneath the mat. So just kind of let that come off the side there. And then there's another yellow cluster, and that's this one. And again, I'm gonna cut. I don't need all of that stem. So I'll just, you can either line it up right next to the mat like that or just tuck. Whatever's working for you if you have your mat down or not. Next up at the top is the light purple ones, or they might be pink depending on what color you decided to use. And again, I'm gonna probably cut some of this off because they really, it looks like they only going under that final flower down at the bottom. So I'm just gonna cut that and then slightly tuck. And that's going over that glitter paper. So you might need a little extra adhesive there. Then we've got the bird. And that's a smaller bird. So I think that is in that square. Yes. The square that keeps falling out. I think that's the smallest bird. Oh, wait. Take it back. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at, yeah, we're still on layout 1. Yeah, okay. I was thinking we were on layout 2 already, but no. So the really smallest bird is the one. Get your toffee ink out if you want to. Distress the edges slightly. Toffee, or I'm using actually espresso. Either one works. But it does, it actually makes it pop a little bit. So I think that's a good idea. And this one, I'm gonna put a pop dot because it's gonna go slightly over the photo. And so I want it to lift up and not touch my photo. So I'm gonna put a couple different pop dots on there. And then that's just gonna slightly overlap under the yellow flowers there. Oh, awesome. All right, and then moving it up a little bit, we get lots of flowers and a big old circle. So the circle is a sticker, so I'm gonna wait. I don't wanna put that down even to test, so we're gonna kind of estimate where that's gonna go. And because otherwise, you know, I could, one option if you're worried about this, you could take the sticker and put it on some cardstock and cut it out again. You could take the sticker and I suppose we could do this. So why don't we do this? We'll do the pop, because this will be popped up. Let's put the pop tape on and pop dots, and then just not take the papers off. That's probably going to be the easiest way. And that way we can kind of use that to judge where we want to put all the flowers, because they're kind of in a circular manner around this piece. So I'm going to put a lot of pop dots so that it doesn't stick to anything until I want it to. All right. Some of my friends from my scrapbooking days years ago would just have a fit if they saw how many I just put on there. Okay, first up we've got, it looks like the purple or coral flowers. So I'm just gonna kind of lay this down where I think it goes. And that's interesting. It looks like she put that on the big pink circle that we used on the first layout. That's very interesting, because in this you can see there's pink there, but maybe that was, could it have been one? No, it couldn't have been that. That's odd. So we used that big pink sticker in the first one. That was this one, remember? Because that's what I see there under the butterfly. Maybe you see something different. I don't see another sticker that would be. So anyway, we're gonna put this down without that pink background that she has there. That's really odd. Let me go back to page 1. Yeah, that does not look like, that looks like that same sticker, so weird. And I'm not seeing anything here. I don't think it's any of these. So yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna drop that off and that'll be fine. So just kind of place that over to the lower right of the mat. And then I'm just gonna kind of lay these flowers down. We've got that one. We've got some little embellishment here that looks like leaves. And that goes next to it. And then we've got the bluebell ones, like that. And that goes next to that. And then the green oval leaves are next to that. And then a bird, we'll save that for later. And more of these. And they're kind of the purple ones, even though in there they look gray. So that may have been a gray one. I wonder if I've got any leftovers. I'm not sure if I had any leftovers. This might be a gray one. Let me see if I have that. I don't see it, so I'm gonna go ahead with the kind of the bluish purple one. And then over here, it's gonna be, oh, they're all starting to float over there, and then the little yellow one. So, okay, there's the green and the yellow on the left-hand side. So now I sort of know where they're gonna go in this circle, and now I'm just gonna start to glue them. I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one over here that slightly goes over my photo. So the only part I'm gonna glue down at this point until I have a photo is the stem. So that's gonna just float to the left. There's a little glue on it over the photo. So I'm gonna hold that down. And then there's leaves there. I guess the leaves sort of go under that, but above or under is not gonna matter. Since mine's sort of popping up, I'll let it go under. And I'm not putting adhesive on the side that's touching the photo at all. I'm just kind of leaning that over. And this, I'll put just a little bit of glue here to hold this down because that's not on the photo. And hold that down for a second. And then the blue flowers, which may be gray for you. Yours might be gray. Somehow I've got purple ones here. And those will go kind of also. Thinking of putting all these stems together is going to kind of help. Put it just above the together sticker. Don't let it overlap there. And now looks like the blue one kind of is down flat. Let me move these out of the way so you can see, and I'll lift this up because I know it's getting complicated. So by putting all the stems together, I know that I'm kind of going in a circular motion. Let me get this up closer for you. See how I'm just putting those stems together? And then next to that, let's see, next to the blue one is the brown leaves, and let's sponge those a bit. And I'm gonna need glue on those. And those kind of stick next to that. And then the little pink ones, and I haven't forgotten that green leaf either. Pink one's right next to the leaves there. And then this green one's gonna pop up over here. And so I will lift those all up and kind of show you how all the stems are together so that it's going to be fairly circular. And now we can put this piece on. And I'm not going to take the adhesive off on the left-hand side too much because I don't want it touching my photo. So just the ones on the right-hand side. And the other ones will lift it off, keep it off the photo until I need it to go on the photo. So just overlap them like that. Okay, and a bird. So this time it will be the medium-sized bird, which I think was in the square. Yeah, So right here, just use pop dots. And you can use them all over this thing because it's not gonna be touching any photo. Okay, 3 is about all I can fit on there. And I'm gonna distress this just a slight bit too. All right. Get in the edges. And then that's just gonna kind of go over slightly over the circle, journaling circle. That looks awesome. Okay, are we done? Let me check the other side. I think, unless I've made yet another mistake, I think we're good. That looks pretty good. So let me lift that up with the other page. Oh, no, yep, we do have one more thing, right? That I almost missed on the other one too, is attach the whole thing to the mist. I want to make sure I've got mist on the correct side for both of them. And then we'll look at our results. And then on to page 2. And it's all the way to the left. 1/4 inch top, 1/4 inch bottom. So here you go. There's that beauty. And this beauty. She is talented. All right, second layout coming up.